Yo guys, what's up? It's Brian and Jim from DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, and today we're checking out Tecmo NBA Basketball for the NES.
Released in 1992, this came out late in the NES's life. Now, as you'd expect, it was developed and published by Tecmo, who, at this point, they were known for their quality games. So, this has a lot to live up to. Let's see if it holds up.
Alright, so let's check out these graphics. Now, like Jim mentioned, this is Tecmo, so you're going to expect a whole lot of quality. And they kind of deliver. Don't get us wrong, the overall package, it's impressive. You got your cutscenes, you got your fairly detailed sprites. There's not too much to hate on this game. However, these highly detailed sprites give off a surprising amount of flicker. I mean, just look at this game clip. Half the players are flicking in and out, and it can become quite disturbing after some time. And as far as the cutscenes are concerned, well, you don't get them as frequently as you would in Tecmo Bowl or Super Bowl, but it's still nicer there. So as you can see, I only gave this a 6. Jim gave it a 7. He liked it a little more than I did. And I'm only going to add 2 beers, mostly because of that flickering and the lack of cutscenes.
The sound. Alright, let's start with the intro music. Gotta be honest, a little disappointing. It's probably our least favorite yet of the intro musics by Tecmo for sports games. When you get inside the game, it's bad again. It's really short, it gets annoying pretty damn fast. The in-game music was a bit of a letdown. But where this game shines is in its sound effects. Now, it doesn't have a ton of them, but the ones, honestly, for, say, dribbling the ball or hitting it off the rim, those sound really realistic. And they are easily the best you're going to find on the NES. It's a bit of a mixed bag. Luckily, the music isn't terrible, because that would have hurt your scores more. We both gave it 6s. The sound effects definitely kept it high. Now I'll just add 1 beer. It's pretty solid.
The control. This is kind of a sore subject for me and Jim in this game. We always expect solid control from Tecmo sports games. They've done it every other time. Not so much now. The biggest problem that this game offers is in the way you have to select your players. What the fuck? Now, don't get me wrong. It's not a huge deal, especially what I'm about to say, but try playing it after playing all the other basketball games and you'll quickly realize it's annoying. You have to hit the move button and A to select your player. That's all well and good, but you have to hit in the proper direction for which player you want it to select to. And as everyone is moving, you're just naturally going to get fucked up. After maybe an hour of playing this game, it might not be so bad, but for me and Jim, for a first impression, and especially while we're drinking, it was not fun to deal with. Other than that, there's really nothing to say. You pass, you shoot, you move, and sometimes you jump and steal. Stealing's a little finicky because we couldn't seem to get the hang of it. Either way, I gave it a 5, Jim gave it a 4, and I'm going to add 3 beers just because, come on man, you need to get your shit together, Tecmo.
Alright, the gameplay. Yeah, it's basketball. Now, gotta put a caveat on this. Control really takes away from the overall experience. There's some cool things though that this game does. For one, we've seen a lot of watch modes, but this has a coach mode, which you enter in pretty much the same way you'd enter in plays in Tecmo Super Bowl. It's nothing I'd really sit through, but it actually gives a reason to have a watch mode. You actually get to interact with it, so that's pretty cool. Also, like any Tecmo game, it's got a really in-depth season mode. You can edit teams, keep track of data, all cool shit. Outside of that, it's a basketball game. Another cool thing to note, this is actually the first basketball game, and yeah, I know, it took a while to get here, that is licensed by the Players Association and the NBA itself. So, you get the full roster to the 91-92 season. About friggin' time. And like usual, the player stats are all very similar, and it's very in-depth. It's not a perfect game at all, and the control hurts like I said, but we still kind of had fun with it. So for the package alone, we gave it 6s. I'll add another beer in celebration of that cool coach mode.
Alright, so since Jim took away most of the points I was going to make, I'll be brief and summarize. Since this is the first game to have fully licensed NBA teams, we had to give it points there. We also gave it points for, as you see, we're being fair, the player selection was definitely original. Wasn't fun, just original. And finally, that coach mode. Because we really hadn't seen that, especially in a basketball game. Other than that, it didn't really do anything original to the sport of basketball. So as you see, we both gave it 7s. I'm only going to add 1 more beer, because while it's not the most original basketball game, it definitely added some new elements.
Ooh, mama, the replayability. I'm going to come out and say it right now. You have the most replayability options on this game than you do of any other game on the NES when it comes to basketball. You have the coach mode, you have the crazy in-depth season mode. You just have so damn much, and you can go through an entire NBA season and it keeps track of everything. Just the level of detail here is pretty crazy. And once you get used to the control, you'll, like any game, you'll be able to play with your friends to high health. We just thought this game had a lot to offer. Brian gave it a 10 and I gave it a 9. These could be some of the highest scores we've given any sports game on the NES, much less these basketball games. You know what? I'm not even going to add a beer.
Overall, what can I say? Just to summarize how I started. This was a game we expected so much more from. It's coming from a franchise that's known for making great sports games. So although the presentation and the roster may be really impressive for this game, it just really fell down in that control and just the overall gameplay mechanics. If you're a diehard basketball fan, you're going to have tons of fun with this one because you can get a real in-depth season mode. However, it's just not one that really blew me and Jim's socks off. So, as you see, we both gave it 6s. And what does that mean? When you combine all of our scores together, it rounds out to a 6.5. I can really agree with that because it's definitely above average, and we do note that, hey, it looks better than most of the games. It has the deepest basketball experience you can get on the NES, but it's still just nowhere near great. So as far as the beer pairing is concerned, we're going to have to go with a beer that we thought was going to be much better than it ended up being. That's Hop Suplex by Springhouse Brewing Company. Don't get us wrong, it's good beer, it's solid, a lot of alcohol, but the taste and the flavor just kind of didn't sit well with us. So, why don't you grab one or two of these, play with your buddy, and you tell us what you think. As always, guys, thanks for checking out this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you give us a thumbs up, leave some comments, or better yet, why not subscribe? Till next time, guys, cheers.